Thanks for stopping by. I'd like to preface this video by saying it is not a tutorial, but it means to have something playing in the background while you work on your own project. If you're like me and really enjoy having something on while you work, sometimes the content you like is very visually engaging, and you're several hours in and haven't gotten nearly as far along in your project as you would have liked to. So that's where I come in. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. Today we are working on an old goodie of mine. This is the Jumbo Magic Number Blanket. I am making this for my good friend and pen pal who was my former fourth grade teacher who lives in New Mexico, and we write each other, and I just wanted to make something nice for her and had thought long and hard about what to do, and finally found a pattern I really enjoyed and wanted to make it bigger for a grown adult. So if you're interested in this pattern, check out my description box. I do have it linked down there. It is just a free Ravelry pattern for a baby blanket, but way back when I did some fuzzy math to expand the stitch count to make it fit a grown-up instead. And I have a long ways to go because I'm making it kind of big, and I'm using Caron 1 pound right now. This is just 100% acrylic, a pound of acrylic, very big, and it's a good economy worsted weight yarn if you're looking to make something quickly, but I say quickly very loosely because this is taking a long time. I'm also taking lots of breaks while I work on this, so we'll just keep going. I do want to remind you guys that I was so sad that I realize now that I should have been slipping my stitch. It's not part of the pattern, I just think it would have given it a nicer edge. So if I ever do this one again, though, I like a rule of two, like do pattern twice. So this is technically the second time I'm doing this pattern, and I might not do it again. Though it's simple enough, but doing it for a huge blanket like this kind of like makes it like, alright, I think I'm good. I think I got all my jellies out making this pattern. So I hope you guys are having a good day. It's Friday. Well, it's Friday for you. Past Paws and Pearls is filming on a Sunday night, 10 o'clock on a Sunday night, and I'm just going through it. It's been a while since I've been posting regularly, so I have some things lined up, and I think doing a 3-day a week is better for me. If you didn't watch my last video on Wednesday that I had uploaded, I talked about what my future upload schedule is probably going to look like, and I said about 3 videos a week would be ideal. And we're looking at a Monday, Wednesday, Friday upload schedule where I still have content filmed in bulk, which is why you see me wearing a lot of the same outfit several times, because I just sit in front with a full battery most of the time and just chug through it, get a chance to catch up on some projects and chat with you guys, and hopefully you get to chat, or hopefully you get to work on some of your own projects as well. I had started out working on this one a few times ago with continental knitting, and I gave up very quickly because I couldn't get my rhythm down, and I wanted to just make sure I could get through this project. Speed is important, but speed, if it's trumped by trying to get the hang of going faster, slows me down more, then I'll just work on with what I know, because I can get a rhythm going and just get through a row of stitching without thinking too hard about it. So I gave that up very quickly. I also want to say that I finally finished my last bottle of nail polish that I owned before I started using any new ones I bought. If you have been watching me pretty regularly, you know that I've mentioned a couple times how I love to paint my nails. It's like one of my self-care kind of therapeutic things. And since working from home, for the most part, I've been able to keep my nails longer than I've ever been able to keep them while I've been working in the office because of my job. I often bump into things and break my nails and just handle stuff with my hands a lot, so my nails are always breaking. Now, I did have a fatality. My thumb on my right hand did break a couple weeks ago, so I had to cut that one down. But everything else is the same length, so I'm just growing that one out now. I'm super sad about that, but I try to keep them. I think this is like an okay length. Any longer than that, and that's when I start to have things like my thumb incident happen, when they're just way too far away from my fingertips and in the way and perhaps getting bumped and stuff. So maybe like a half inch to a quarter of an inch long is okay for now. We're trying different lengths. No craziness, but my partner complimented me yesterday, and they're like, wow, your nails are so long, they look fake. And I'm like, thank you. I think like it looks like I get them done at the salon, like I have gel nails or acrylics or something, or some press-ons. And nope, these are just my natural nail. I was watching this there's this YouTuber named Nicole. She has a nail polish brand called Hollow Taco, and her YouTube channel is Simply Nailogical, and she's a little quirky. I don't always watch her because sometimes I'm just like, she's a little much for me sometimes, but like, she's entertaining. And I watched one of her videos about how she has really long nails, and I was watching one of hers on like, how does she keep her nails so long? One of the things is she has her boyfriend open things for her a lot, and I am a little bit more self-reliant than that, so I found other ways to get things open without using my nails. But one thing she did mention was like nail oil, specifically jojoba oil, because its molecular makeup is easier to absorb through the nail than some other oils have been known to. So that's like the first thing I did. Is I bought a bottle of jojoba oil and put it in a little brush tip applicator thing, and then I realized that after I use the brush tip applicator, I can't open it to put more in, so I stopped using those, and now I just use the little dropper, and every now and then I'll drop some jojoba oil on my hands and rub it in. And since the top is painted, I'll put them on the bottom side because I don't have any polish underneath my nail. And that's been helping a lot. So if you are interested in growing your nails long, if you don't already, I suggest just watching people who have long nails on YouTube and talk about like how they do it. And if they have any words of wisdom that look like they are feasible for you to incorporate in your life, do try. She does also mention that having polish on is helpful because then they have like an extra layer of strength to withstand any damage. She also mentions like making sure they're dry after your shower because the water absorbs into them and makes them more flexible and like really flexible, so like likely to break. The oil helps them stay a little bit flexible so they're not brittle when you bump them and then they chip off and stuff like that, which is usually what happens to me. But yeah, since using the oil, I found that they hold up a lot longer than they used to. So that and lack of a lot of manual labor has really helped. But overall, very happy that I finally got through all of my polishes that I had in my collection before I used anything new that I bought, because I bought 4 new polishes toward the end of my 2020 goal of using all my polish before I started buying new ones, and so I waited on those, and finally I got to start using them last week. I used like this dusty rose color. I think the video that I filmed on Monday when I was talking about the base pause test results of Koji and Kabu, that one I had my last color on that I had in my collection before I started using new ones. And I had my new one because the last one I had was like a clear glitter pink color. And then the new one was like a dusty rose, dusty pink, like cream color. So the two together was this like chef's kiss, perfect combination. So pretty. I love that combo. So that might be, until I run out of that pink glitter one, that might be my combo with that. But anything really dusty pink with that glitter is just really nice. So I will use that one again. So now that I've used all of the ones I owned, minus the black. Black is better for fall for me, so I'm going to be using that one later. I can use my other ones. So I used 1 and 2. So I have 2 more colors I can use. I have like a bright fuchsia color that's not like this hot pink, but like a different tone. And I have a creamy rosy color, like a light powdery pinky rose color. And those are the last 2. And then I don't have any more polish at all to rotate out. So my thought is, because this is a segue into a new topic, but because September is my birthday month and I've been holding off on buying a lot of stuff because I'm thinking about what I really want to buy as my birthday treat. One thing that I had on my list was new nail polish. Of course, it's like Paws and Pearls. You just spent almost a year, well, a little close to a year, because September was when I finished my last one. So, oh no, it was August, because that was last week. So August, so 8 months of the year I had polish to go through. And if I buy any more, I will definitely have 365 days of polish to, not 365 bottles, but if you think 1 polish every week and a half that I use, 2 weeks if it really holds up, then yeah, I have about 60 bottles of polish. That would give me about 60 bottles. I think I'm at like 54 now, something like that. So I don't know what color. I know what color families I'm thinking about, is I really like teals. I love blues. I've kind of been more into nudie colors like beige and brown. But I love a pink on the nails. Like, I'm not a pink I'm wearing a pink shirt now because my shirt says Yarny, but it's Barbie, but it's crossed out, so it's Yarny instead. And Barbie pink just made more sense for this shirt. And I do have other pink shirts, but pink is not my favorite color. But I think it looks wonderful as a wearable color for clothing, for nails. It's just a pretty color. It's just not my favorite color. It's not something I usually accessorize with, but pink on the nails, pretty. Anyway, so yes, teals, purples. I barely have any purples, like actual purples, not pinky purples, not berries, but like actual purple. Hardly any of that. And just like more bluey tones, so jewel tones mostly that I don't have a lot of that I want, and some more nudie colors. And I've been waiting because there are some black owned nail polish brands that I've had my eye on, but because there's been like a revival of, or a resurgence, I guess, of people becoming aware that black owned businesses have a lot of really awesome stuff, that's almost always sold out. So even if I wanted it now, I can't even get a bottle because the colors I want are out of stock, which is a good thing for them, but it means I have to wait. So that's kind of one thing. But yeah, polishes. But so you guys know, yeah, September is my birthday month. I have petitioned earlier in some other videos to ask you guys to send me or comment your suggestions of cool products, knitting related, that you think I would thoroughly enjoy in my collection. If you know some independent yarn dyers, let me know who they are. If you have some cool gadget that you can't live without and you think is really awesome and I should know about as well, let me know that, where you got it. I'm just kind of waiting around to see what suggestions I get. And I did this last year for my birthday too. All of September I waited. I had my own wish list of things that I wanted to buy, and then I heard from a couple people, bought some things from their suggestions, and then added to that with my own little wish list that I had, and I showed you guys in late October after I waited all September to kind of have something to curate, and did my show and tell after. So that's my same method this year, where I'll wait. Before the battery cut out, I was explaining how I'm going to wait through the month of September to see if anybody has any suggestions, and then I will be making my purchases in October of what I wanted for my birthday month, and we'll go over what I got. If I don't hear from anybody, that's okay. I do have a pretty extensive wish list again this year. I've been mulling over a couple different things, but for the most part, I kind of have my eye on some stuff. I haven't checked to see if any of the items I wanted are sold out yet, but I have a list. So don't worry, there will be a birthday haul at some point in October after all the items have been received. But in the meantime, for September, if you have anything that you're like, Paws and Pearls, I heard you talk about this before, I know a person who's a yarn dyer, or I have this yarn shop that I really like and they have these products, you should check them out online, let me know. Aside from just birthday haul in general, one of my goals is to build my collection of yarn from independent yarn dyers, small batch folks, whether it's a person who owns their own yarn shop and happens to dye yarn in their collection, or if they are a independent yarn dyer that you've seen on Instagram or in Etsy that you really like, let me know. One of my besides that being like my goal, my method is to one day just sit through Instagram and do the hashtag like yarn or indie dyer or something like that, just a couple different hashtags to see what products come up, and if they are available online, then I'll make like an awesome little folder on Instagram for myself so that I can start to buy from these people. If I had $1 million, maybe even more than $1 million, because yarn is expensive, if I had endless supply of money that I could just distribute or allocate to buying yarn, it would be one of the best things just to have a video where I'm like buying all of the yarn on Instagram or something like that. What I'm trying to do is a lot smaller of a scale than that, But essentially it's the same thing, just not everything, not all of the yarn, but some of the things that catch my eye are like buying all the yarn at Joann's Fabrics, or buying all the yarn at my local yarn shop, or stuff like that. I think if I ever become like one of those big YouTubers, then that'll be one of the videos I want to make, is just supporting someone, buying all of the stuff that they have in their inventory, or like one of each, and talking about it would be so awesome. Like, I would have a whole, if I was like one of those people who have like AdSense and stuff, then I could have a whole room where it's not just like my craft room in general, but like it's just my yarn room, and all the shelves behind me are just yarn, all of the yarn, all of the very, very pretty yarn. It'd be like my room would be my own yarn shop, essentially. That would be so nice. But those are big dreams. I'm just a wee little YouTuber who spends my own money on this stuff, so I gotta do what I can with what I have, and right now it is just being very, very selective of what I bring into the home based on what I can afford. And space. Space is a big deal too. And speaking of space, or maybe lack of, Knitpicks was having a 40% up to 40% off sale on their summer yarns. They're making room for fall stuff and winter stuff, and I bought a lot of the chroma yarn, fingering weight, because I looked at the yarn that I had, because my plan, if you didn't watch my last episode, I talked a lot about how my plan is to knit socks at this point, knit socks for all the folks that I have in my family. I was originally going to do maybe some fingerless gloves or mittens, but after that knit the family pattern, it went by quickly, but it just didn't turn out like I thought, not how I really wanted. So I'm not going to use that particular pattern as a gift giving pattern for my family. But, if I find another fingerless glove pattern or mitten pattern down the line, which I think I've seen a couple that were like, that might work, that might work. I'm just gonna keep doing the socks. But with that, I looked at what sock yarn I actually have, and a lot of it is more like feminine. I have a really pretty green, like a teal one, but I want to use that for myself because I bought it as a set, specifically like a speckly one, and the teal one to be like the accent. So the heel or the toe would be in the teal, and then the speckle would be the body of the sock. So I was like, nah, I won't do that. But I looked at my other stuff, and I'm like, yeah, there's a blue one that's okay, and there's a brown one that's like, that might work for some of the men that I have in my family, but most of the yarn is all girly stuff, pinks and pretty blues and purples. And not saying that men can't wear those colors, but the men in my family would not be caught dead in some pinky or some purpley hues or some very soft teal looking socks. Like, that's just not how they roll. So I have to think of like more dude colors. More like dirt and brick and mud and gunsmoke and stuff like that, like rugged looking guy colors, because they cannot be caught dead in a color that looks a little bit soft. So it's like, fine. So I bought some more chroma. I actually bought chroma for the first time. I have not used chroma before from Knitpicks, so I'm hoping it goes well. I don't know when I'm gonna get it, So I'm just going to be working on the ladies for the most part until I get that, and then I can start working on the men's socks. But fingers crossed. I'm working on my cousin's daughter's sock now. So then I have I finished my brother's fiance. Those were the rib knit socks that I was working on. I have I have my cousin to do, my aunt, my uncle, her son, and my brother. So, yeah. And socks in general don't take me that long. It's just spending the time to knock them out is what takes the longest, is dedicating the time, which is why I'm trying to do like 3 videos a week instead of my 5, because I need that off-camera time just to be dead silent, focused, not worrying about spending time editing and uploading and adding description and filing away all of the data from the video and all that stuff, like just straight knitting, nothing fancy. So since there is such a crunch time as well, I'm starting all of these projects so late in the year. I've put my poor Jolie Mimi cardigan on the back burner. So, it's kind of like, man, kind of sad. But I did have a feeling I was not going to have that cardigan finished before summer ended anyway. And it might be next summer that it'll be done. It's just taking so long. But once I get my main projects done, again, I feel like this is a broken record where even last year I was like, okay, I'll be done with my holiday stuff and then I can work on my own stuff. And then this year rolled around and I'm like, okay, I still have other people's stuff to work on and then I can work on my own stuff. And then I started my own stuff and then I had to start over again with other people's stuff. So it's just, if I didn't have to work, I could spend so much more time knitting, because that's just most of my days, work. And then I guess if I didn't have to eat or sleep too, I could keep knitting. If I didn't have to do laundry or clean the kitchen or anything, I could just keep knitting. If I didn't have to shower. But that is okay. We are making some progress. So this blanket here, I only increased by 1 stitch each row, and that's why this one's taking so long, because I need to be in the 300s before I can even incorporate my other color, which will be this very pretty tealy blue color. And going off of Jenny's suggestion, if you don't know Jenny is one of the subscribers to my channel, and she's very awesome because she almost always has something very thoughtful to say on the videos, or a comment for a question I had asked you guys. But she suggested that I do a seat stitch between each row once I get to the stripy part of this pattern, and I'm like, that's a good idea. It will add some variation, and it will help showcase the teal, because teal is going to be that seed stitch in the middle. However, I do have to do a little bit of math to get it to look right when I do get to that part, but it'll be fine. I'm just gonna do like a little sample before I start to make sure I get it right. And then I gotta establish what side's my front, because it all looks the same, so I haven't actually put a thingy, a stitch marker on what side is the front or the back, because it's the same on both sides. But once I start doing the seat stitch, I will have to establish the front and the back, because then the part where I added the other color is going to have like this weird little loop there, since it's garter stitch for most of this. But yeah. Lots of projects. Not a human octopus. Cannot knit quickly enough. Now there's a whole bit like, okay, I could buy a machine and do machine knitting, but then that takes, to me, it feels like that's, I wouldn't say cheating. It's not a game, not like you're cheating anything, but the love, not even the love. I'm not sure. I don't want to say anything that is offensive to anyone who does use machines to knit, but for me, it kind of takes that labor. I mean, it does take the labor out of knitting, but then it takes kind of like the whole process of knitting, like that. The thing about knitting that makes it knitting, it makes it too easy, I guess? I don't know. I'm just thinking like, okay, if I'm gonna knit something and I'm actually gonna like take the yarn out, take the time to knit it, show you that I spent all this time knitting this for you, like that feels like it's valuable, especially if it's like a gift, because then it shows like I wanted to spend this time on you. Now if I use a machine, then I'm like, I could have just bought the thing that was already knit, because why would I want to speed it up to knit if I'm not actually like doing the craft? If that makes more sense as to what I'm trying to explain. So it's like, if I'm going to use a machine knit, I might as well just buy something that's already made, because I'm cutting that time, but I'm also taking out that sense of like the creative part of it out, because I'm having the machine do all of that for me. Now if you're doing machine knitting because you have like 20,000 hats you're making for like, a charity or something, you're giving them away for a coat drive, and you're just working on getting them done to distribute, then sure, that makes sense. But it's like, if it's coming from the heart and I couldn't even put in the work to make it for you, then I just don't feel the same way about it. That's how I feel, I guess. So if you do not agree, that's totally fine, but I'm not going to go down that road. Now, if I had arthritis, or I was like challenged mobily, where I couldn't actually hold the needles and make something with my own two hands, then I don't see a problem with using it to assist that way. But when I'm capable, I want to struggle along with the project. I want to cry. Well, actually, I've never cried about my knitting. I've been frustrated. I've been scared to start something, but have not cried because I messed something up. Now, I've said some curse words when I've dropped some stitches, but I have not cried yet. I guess that might be part of the journey, is that you if you cry, then you've become a true person who cares about the knitting, but maybe not, I don't know. Hasn't happened, but I do like that I get to have problems. It makes it feel real to me that I'm knitting and I'm learning, hopefully. I'm a little hard-headed, I do admit that, but it's still a process, and it's still something that I'm developing. And even though I've only knit for like 2 years, very few projects because it takes so long, and with life and everything else, I don't crank out a lot, but the few that I have done, I learned something each time. And I mess up a lot, hence why I made like 3 socks before I could make a pair that actually matched each other. Just kept messing up. But yeah, so we know we're not that far along yet. As I mentioned, this is a slow one because we're only increasing by 1 stitch each row, and that's where you get the effect of this border, because you're increasing by 1 and you're making this border, which is probably why it's still designed to be a baby blanket, so that you're done with it a lot sooner than I am right now, where I'm still working on 1 corner. She'll get it eventually, but yes. So we are at the end. Because I had to splice 2 videos together, this one's a little bit longer than usual, but some of you like it like that. So yeah, we will see you next Monday, because this is a Friday video. So I hope you have a good Friday. I hope you have a great weekend wherever you are, doing whatever you decide to do. Don't feel shy about suggesting some yarn, some cool knitting products, things like that, so that I can keep tabs on what you guys say is pretty awesome, so I can hopefully buy some of the things at least for my birthday month and celebrate with you guys in October of what I was able to collect this month. But I will be continuing to poke you, remind you that I want to know, what do you really like, what do you enjoy, who's a good indie dyer that you like and have bought from that you think I would want to support as well. I'm very curious. I'm very excited. My wallet is burning a hole in my pocket because I really want to buy stuff now, but I have not. Besides the chroma yarn, because that was on sale and I needed some sock yarn. And I bought some setting spray, but that's like makeup stuff, so it's not the same thing. But yarn stuff, I have some ideas, but I want to hear from you first before I jump the gun and put some things in my cart. So with that, I will see you next week. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.